Hi, I'm Hazel, and this is a look at the Shadow Priest changes coming in Battle for Azeroth. Of course, the BFA bun is not ready to come out of the oven yet, and could see more changes before it's fully baked. Use this video to give you more of a sense of where the spec is headed than absolute answers. We're going to look spell by spell at what's pruned, what's unpruned, which buttons will do different things, and then go through what the heck happened to the talent tree. Let's start with what's pruned. Open up your artifact window, breathe all that in, and let it go. Nearly all of our beloved traits such as Void Tendrils and Dispersion Healing You are out the window. Void Torrent still exists, but it's been changed up a little and then scooched onto the talent tree. Aside from all that, nothing from the main spellbook has been pruned. We are losing a big handful of talents, including the stun-deliciousness of Mind Bomb, but we'll get to that later. What's more fun is what's unpruned. That's right, they cut the bush back so far that some of it's starting to grow back. Power Word Fortitude is returned! Starting at level 22, you'll be able to give yourself and anyone lucky enough to ride a boat with you 10% stamina. Psychic Horror is coming back as a talent, allowing you to once again single target stun. Leap of Faith is returning to the Shadow repertoire. If you happen to raid with a mean or a hilarious Shadow Priest, you should probably start sucking up to them now. And finally, Mindseer. Yup, the old one. The faithful one that we did not appreciate until we lost it. The passive Legion version is toast, but that's fine because Mindseer is coming back as a dedicated AoE beam lasering button. You will no longer have to swap to Holy to run old raids, and it might actually do some reasonable damage once you've got 4-ish stacked targets. Somebody'll do the math. Next, I would talk about brand new spells, but there aren't any. We've got a few new talents and some familiar old buttons that will work in new ways, but if you open your spellbook looking for Shadow Word BFA Flargenfloppen, you're gonna be disappointed. Next, let's run through the changes to our spellbook spells. I have not bothered to sort out the buffs from the nerfs here, so this might be a bit of a roller coaster. Shadow Word Death has been moved to the talent tree, so it's going to need to compete for your love now. Shadow Word Pain lasts 14 seconds down from 18. Vampiric Touch lasts 21 seconds down from 24 and heals for 30% of damage dealt down from 50%. Void Bolt extends the duration of your dots by 2 seconds down from 3. Mind Blast generates 12 insanity down from 15, but recharges in 7.5 seconds down from 9. Shadow Form has been changed to buff spell damage rather than just shadow damage. Void Eruption now damages all enemies within 10 yards of your target, instead of enemies with your dots on them. This change is great for cleaving dungeon packs with much less ramp time, but not so good for spread target AoE like you often see in raids. On top of that, the cast time was raised to 2.5 seconds up from 2. Void Form will reduce your Mind Blast cooldown by 1.5 seconds down from 3, and grants 0.5% haste every second down from 1%. Shadow Fiend lasts 15 seconds up from 12, Silence lasts 4 seconds down from 5, Vampiric Embrace has a 2-minute cooldown down from 3 minutes, and Mass Dispel gets a 45-second cooldown up from 15. So yeah, it does look like a big lake of nerfs with a few sprinkled buffs, but there are so many factors that go into class damage and balance that it's just too early to say that Shadow Priest sucks. You just have to have faith in the devs or the universe or something. Next, it's time to pick apart the talent tree. The Legion talents are shown here on the left, and the BFA talents are on the right. Flat out pruned from the Legion list, we have Masochism, Dominant Mind, Psychic Voice, Reaper of Souls, and Void Ray. They're gone. Sticking in the mix, but with their effects changed, we have Mind Bomb, San'laeon, Auspicious Spirits, Surrender to Madness, Legacy of the Void, Twist of Fate, and Lingering Insanity. And just for fun, and probably also good reasons, the whole thing's been chucked into a blender, so we've got some delightful new choices to make. Let's walk through the new tree tier by tier. At level 15, we have Fortress of the Mind, Shadowy Insight, and Shadow Word Void. These talents all work the same, they've just been shuffled a bit. At level 30, we see Mania, Body and Soul, and San'laeon. Mania received a rephrasing, but I think the napkin math still checks out. Body and Soul is the same, and San'laeon now reduces the cooldown of Vampiric Embrace by 45 seconds and increases its healing done by 25%. It no longer affects Vampiric Touch at all. At level 45, we've got Dark Void, Misery, and Twist of Fate. Dark Void is new, and it causes Void Eruption to apply Shadow Word Pain to all targets hit. Remember, the Void Eruption is now an AoE on everything within 8 yards of your target, so this is a very fast way to apply pain if you have an eruption ready. Misery remains unchanged, and Twist of Fate has been heavily nerfed to grant only 10% increased damage and healing, down from 20%. At level 60, there's Last Word, Mind Bomb, and Psychic Horror. Last Word is new, and that reduces your silence cooldown. Mind Bomb is very much changed. It's no longer an AoE stun, but rather an AoE disorient. If it stuns you want, Psychic Horror is a single target 4-second stun on a 45-second cooldown. At level 75, we've got Auspicious Spirits, Shadow Word Death, and Shadow Crash. Spirits in Shadow Crash are the same, and Death is new to the talent tree where it used to be baseline. Note that there is no longer a talent to make it always grant insanity as though the target died, so if you want that extra grape juice, you need to get a Killing Blow. At level 90, we see Lingering Insanity, Mindbender, and Power Infusion. Lingering fades your haste half as quickly after Void form as it used to, at only 1% every second down from 2%. Both Bender and Infusion are unchanged. At level 100, there's Legacy of the Void, Void Torrent, and Surrender to Madness. Legacy of the Void is buffed even further, reducing the cast time of Void Eruption by 40% and allowing it to be used at 60 Insanity down from 65. Void Torrent is more or less the same, except of course now on the talent tree. Surrender to Madness now has a 1-minute duration, and at the end, you take damage equal to 90% of your max health and cannot generate insanity for 30 seconds. That's on a 4-minute cooldown. I think that has potential for dungeon bosses where the fights are really short, but in raids, When you're actually playing with these changes, all of this boils down to 3 things that stood out to me. 1, you can no longer maintain permadots on even one target between the dot duration nerfs and the Void Bolt nerf. Reapplying your dots is going to be a part of life. 2, Void Eruption's change takes some getting used to. We're very much in the habit of dotting 7 things and then Void Erupting, whereas now you don't have to dot them, but they do have to be stacked. And 3rd, the unpruning of Mindseer and the addition of the Dark Void talent solves what I used to call the imp problem. You no longer need to individually dot packs of small health mobs in order to damage them. It's a shame we couldn't have sorted out how to handle imps before we defeated the Burning Legion, but what do you do? So that's Shadow Priest so far in BFA. Thanks for watching. Depending on the interest in this style of video, I might cover other specs, but I can't promise anything. To see what's new in any spec at any given time, you can always check out the current BFA talent trees and spell lists on bfa.wowhead.com. Let me know what you think and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye!